The past several months, we've been witness to a technological arms race amongst the world's biggest companies, each vying to showcase their cutting edge AI technology. Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, all of them have been flexing their AI muscles. And Meta is certainly no exception. They've been hard at work in the lab, and their latest creation is a powerful AI tool called Voicebox. Voicebox is a versatile generative system for speech capable of producing high-quality audio clips in a multitude of styles. It can create outputs from scratch, modify existing samples, and even perform tasks such as noise removal and style conversion. It's a groundbreaking leap in the realm of speech synthesis. What sticks out is just how realistic it sounds. The lines between generated content with AI and human-created content are blurring rapidly. From voices to videos to art, AI-generated content is becoming so indistinguishable from the real deal that it feels like we're stepping into a world reminiscent of The Matrix. What makes Voicebox so special? Well, traditionally speech generation models, the kind of technology that turns written text into spoken words, needed to be trained specifically for each task they performed. Think of it as needing a separate chef for every single dish in a restaurant. This approach was effective, but it was time-consuming, expensive, and overall it was just limited with what those models could do. The secret ingredient behind Voicebox's prowess is a new approach called flow matching. Without getting too technical, flow matching allows Voicebox to learn from a broad range of speech data without needing meticulous labeling or organization. It's like having an intuitive chef who can create amazing dishes from a mix of ingredients even without a specific recipe. This approach lets Voicebox outperform existing models not only by making fewer mistakes, but also doing it up to 20 times faster. Voicebox was trained using a large amount of data, over 50,000 hours of recorded speech and transcripts from the public domain audiobooks in multiple languages. This extensive dataset provides a broad range of examples for the system to learn from. On the Voicebox homepage, we can actually find several demos highlighting the key features of this product. The first one listed here is Transient noise removal. So basically, any background noise that bleeds into a recording will be able to be picked up and removed from the recording without altering the actual speech that is going into it. So let's go ahead and listen to this first example that is the raw recording.
In zero weather, in midwinter, when the earth is frozen to a great depth below the surface.
Okay, we get it. You hear a dog barking. So let's go ahead and see what Voicebox did about that.
In zero weather, in midwinter, when the earth is frozen to a great depth below the surface, when in driving over the unpaved country roads.
No more dog. The cool thing is it removes the dog without doing any obvious alteration to the actual voice. The other thing they have listed here is content editing. So basically, if there's any misspoken words, it will automatically change that so there isn't a need to re-record something. I think this will remove things like ums or ahs or stutters or, anything that is misspoken. So let's go ahead and listen to the original speech.
Will find himself completely at a loss on occasions of common and constant recurrence. Speculative ability is one thing, and a practical ability is another.
So we can see here that it's actually highlighting the portion in which she said occasions of common and constant recurrence. We believe that is a mistake, so Voicebox, go ahead and changed it. Let's hear what it sounds like.
Will find himself completely at a loss on rare and unpredictable circumstances. Speculative ability is one thing, and a practical ability is another.
So we can see here that it actually changed that portion to say rare and unpredictable circumstances. Now, if you didn't know that this was an AI, text voice, you might not be able to tell actually that that wasn't actually recorded or spoken. it kept the inflections, which is actually the key part of this voice box technology, is that the inflection in the speech, the style of the original audio recording was kept, even though those words were just generated by an AI. The other thing here listed is zero shot text to speech synthesis. So in the first prompt, it can basically receive someone's audio recording and be able to indicate what style that is in, and then carry on the nuances into their output. So let's go ahead and see what it sounds like.
Gapes, there's the first symptom.
Okay, so that's the prompt, in which we got a voice from somebody that has certain inflections and other characteristics. Let's go ahead and see what Voicebox took from that, and then how they're going to read this text prompt.
Voicebox is the Swiss Army knife of text-to-speech, acing multiple languages, changing voice styles, and dishing out custom samples.
You can see it's not just a random text-to-speech voice or avatar like that. It actually tried to take these certain characteristics from the original prompt, which is just a 2-second clip, and create a whole sentence based off that information alone, which is pretty cool. The other thing, which is probably my favorite feature that I've seen, is the cross-lingual style transfer. So this first prompt we will hear is a French-speaking person. It's going to take that style, it's going to take that inflection, the characteristics once again, and it's going to output something not in French but in English. So let's go ahead and listen to the prompt.
S'ils veulent les monter et s'en servir, ne les gâtent-ils pas?
And let's go ahead and see the output.
We see by this example that, admirable as is the progress accomplished in certain regions of physics, there still exist many over-neglected regions which remain in painful darkness.
And it sounds like a French woman speaking in English, and really good English too. I think this is definitely the coolest feature because it kind of helps eliminate barriers between, people, between companies, just around the world. If we can communicate with things such as this, and it keeps certain things like inflection, like tone, like style, makes communication cross-lingually a lot more effective. Now, the other demo here is just showcasing its diverse style. So let's listen to each of these samples.
His conduct and presence of mind in this emergence appeared conspicuous.
His conduct and presence of mind in this emergence appeared conspicuous.
His conduct and presence of mind in this emergence appeared conspicuous.
As you can see, it has a variety of different styles that it can showcase. Again, this was trained on, public domain audiobooks and other stuff like that. So it can learn how to actually appropriately say certain words in certain contexts, which I think is really cool, and it's definitely the future. Now, we have a lot of this technology already. You've seen text-to-speech before, and you've probably even scrolled on TikTok and found those videos of AI president voices and whatnot. But I think Voicebox is really, taking a step beyond what we were currently doing, developing a new system and making it a lot more intuitive and cerebral in approach. So that way, it's basically just going to be a lot more efficient. Now, this does, bring on the ethical impact of things like AI generated voices. There've already been ads created that showcase an AI voice of someone famous, and it's not really them, but they're using their name to sell a product or something like that. It's definitely immoral and unethical. And I like that Meta has been really upfront about this technology. It's gonna get so powerful, it's actually gonna be scary, but as long as they have technologies that allow you to analyze a piece of audio and have the ability to tell what sections of that audio was actually AI generated and not authentic voice, is going to be really key for the future to, reducing scams or anything of that nature, because that's the immediate thing that is kind of scary about this, is like maybe your grandparents or something are getting a phone call from someone that has a voice like you and it's saying, I need $10,000 in my bank account. I was gambling with the sharks and whatnot. So it's definitely a good and bad thing. There's a lot to be worried about, but AI is really coming together strong and it's really cool technology. So yeah, if you guys liked the video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and a subscribe. Other than that, take care. I want to tell you about futuresolutions.io. It is a powerful website that I created where I curate hundreds of AI tools across the internet, all with individual reviews to gain additional insights like overviews, key features, pros and cons, pricing. I also have it hooked up to my YouTube channel so you could see all my latest videos on everything to do with AI or modern tech news. I also have a blog where I write articles on how to do things or comparing different AI tools. I recommend you go check it out. Other than that, take care.